Most people ask self-defense questions in related to human attacks. But what about the four-legged attacks? You have to consider those too. Welcome to Lawyered Up. My name is Patrick McGee. I'm a Florida trial attorney and former police officer, and I bring you firearms related and Second Amendment related information from around Florida and around the country. So what happens when you're attacked by a dog? This happens on occasion, and in the last couple weeks, it's happened twice with fatal consequences. A couple weeks ago in Texas, a 71-year-old man was mauled to death by dogs, and they arrested the owner. Just this weekend, Sunday, in Interlochen, Florida, a mail carrier, 61-year-old female, was mauled by 5 dogs and was airlifted to the hospital and died the next day. Charges are pending in that case. So let's talk about it. How do you defend yourself against a dog in Florida? So the question is, can you shoot a dog that's attacking you in Florida or attacking another dog or animal? Well, and you may be surprised to know that there is no specific law in Florida which authorizes you to shoot or kill a dog or any other animal for attacking you or attacking another animal. It falls under a combination of 2 different laws. First, we have the animal cruelty laws, and let's take a look at that statute. So take a look at Florida Statute 828.12, cruelty to animals. Paragraph A makes it a crime. Any person who unnecessarily overloads, overrides, torments, deprives of the necessity of subsistence or shelter, or, and here's the key part, unnecessarily mutilates or kills any animal or causes the same to be done or carries, and you can read the rest for yourself. But what we're focusing here on is unnecessarily mutilates or kills an animal. So by reading that statute, necessity becomes a defense for it. Okay, so what is necessity? Is it necessary to kill or injure that animal as prohibited by this statute? And that's a determination that must be made on a case-by-case basis. It must be necessary. Okay, so let's take a look at statute 767.03. Good defense for killing dog. In any action for damages or of a criminal prosecution against a person for killing or injuring a dog, satisfactory proof that says dog has been or was killing an animal included in the definitions of domestic animal and livestock as provided in section 58501 constitutes a good defense to either of such actions. So what does that mean? So you'd have to go over to look at statute 585.01 and for the definition of domestic animal or livestock. And I'll save you the trip. I'll tell you that a domestic animal or livestock is a dog, a cat, a bird, a horse, a pig, whatever you commonly think of, but it has to meet that definition. So where does that leave us in terms of, can you shoot a dog for attacking you or attacking your dog? So what does all this mean? Well, if a dog is attacking you or going to attack you and you're in imminent fear of death or great bodily harm and you shoot the dog in self-defense, you'll probably be all right. If you apply the same factors as self-defense against another person, you'll probably be okay. But what about if a dog is attacking your dog? It comes down to, like I said, a case-by-case analysis. And it can be a little difficult because there's not a whole lot of case law on these statutes that we discussed. And you have a combination of statutes which are applicable. But we need to look at the necessity aspect. The necessity is the defense in this particular case. So what we need to look at for necessity are several factors, such as the reasonable belief of the danger or emergency that existed that you didn't put yourself in, the danger that the emergency threatened significant harm to yourself or a third person. Because if a dog attacks your dog, it can turn around and attack you too. You could be the next, and then your self-defense applies. The threatened harm must be real, imminent, and impending. So if the dog's getting ready to latch on your dog or the dog is already latched onto your dog, that factor applies. There was no other reasonable means to avoid the danger or emergency except by committing the crime, which is shooting the dog. The crime charge must have been committed out of necessity, here we have necessity again, to avoid the danger or emergency. The harm of the actor avoided must outweigh the harm caused by committing the crime. Saving your life, saving your dog's life, must outweigh the shooting of the dog. Those are some of the factors. It can be all the factors that weigh in your benefit. It can be some of the factors that weigh in your benefit. It can be the amount of weight that the factor carries to your benefit. So, just so you have an understanding, there is no law in Florida that says you could shoot a dog for attacking you or attacking your dog. You have to be very careful, and you have to apply these statutes correctly and claim the defense of necessity. Now, when a lot of people see defenses, let's go back to 767.03. A lot of people would read this statute and believe it gave them authorization to shoot the dog. This gives you a defense. A defense you have to prove. You have to bring forth evidence to prove that this defense applies. And who makes that decision? A judge or a jury makes that decision. This is not immunity from the crime itself. It's a defense to the crime. And there's a very big difference when you're dealing with defenses. Just because a statute or a law enumerates a defense doesn't mean it's allowing you to do whatever the act is. It's allowing you to use certain factors to defend yourself. In other words, you can still be arrested, but you have to prove the offense to get out of the criminal charge. Hope you understand that. It's a fairly complicated area of law which is not real clear, and it's made more difficult by the lack of a direct law or statute that applies and the interpretation on the vague case law on these particular statutes. So I hope that cleared it up for you and gave you an understanding about when you can shoot a dog if it's attacking you or if it's attacking your dog. Thanks for joining me here on Lawyered Up and listening to me ramble on about things that I find interesting and passionate. I hope that you find interesting. I hope it provides some information to you that will be of some benefit in the future. Have a great time. I look forward to seeing you next time.